Yeah, it's on. So antivirus is one of the security tool. So basically this is going to help us in terms of identifying any malwares in a simple terminology to detect any virus in the machine. So if you look at the topic, this consists of basically it is an application which is installed to protect the computer from malware, and it works on a signature base, and it stops, cleans, delete malware execution, and actions of antivirus would be cleaning the virus, deleting the virus, or quarantining the files after malware detection. So we can set an exclusion on antivirus. Now the setting of exclusion is something like you can create a rule by this application. So it's nothing but the last term which indicates we can set the exclusion on antivirus is something like you can set an alarm like you can set a notification, like whenever your rule meets the that particular scenario, then the antivirus will pop up an alarm or gives an notification for you to look into the particular actionable or notables and take necessary actions to prevent or avoid. So the name itself says antivirus, so it basically defending or try to counterpart the virus. Now this is a regular expression, general expression that everybody would aware of, by calling it as antivirus. Now particularly this is not termed as antivirus, it is termed as anti-malware. Now, why I'm specifically saying this? The it is not termed as antivirus, or it is termed as anti-malware, because virus is a part of. I mean, it belongs to the family of malware. Now, malware is something like uh, basically it's a kind of a software which is being created by a hacker, or which has a bad intention in terms of damaging the system, disrupt the network, or some malicious content it basically intend to do. So in the malware there are types of malwares. One among the malware family is called the virus. So virus is a part of a, or it belongs to a malware family, and it has got an intention to damage the system, or corrupt the data, or intend to do some sort of malicious or suspicious activities. But then it has its own characteristics of execution and characteristics of remediations in terms of defending that particular malware. So we have this anti malwares. Now if you look at the below topic, when it comes to the discussion related to the malware, we have, yeah, understanding the malware and its types. We have one among the malware is viruses, another one is worm, logic bombs, backdoors, Trojan, botnets, and rootkits, spyware, adware, and ransomware. So all this belongs to the malware family, and uh, each specific malware has got its own characteristics, and its own having it is designed such a way that it acts as per the requirement of a attacker. So generally this will be created by the attacker. So nothing but he creates a payload to achieve the end goal, and depending on what type of a disruption he wanted to disrupt any web application related stuff, so he might inject a botnet into the network, or maybe like if you wanted to damage any system software, probably like you might be using the virus as an option. If you wanted to like spread the virus among the all the networks by spreading it from one network, one machine to another machine, then they will be using the worm. So that's how the characteristics of the malwares has been diversified, and depending on the the end goal of an attacker, they are distinguished. So but in our general terminology, for regular expression, regular understanding, we call it as antivirus, right? So one such things could be executed. One second. Sorry, just give me a minute. Yeah, sorry. So in the virus, if you look at we have types of scanning it could able to do perform. So there are two types of scanning. One is on real-time scanning, which scans automatically, and another one is on-demand scheduled manual scan. So one is the antivirus being installed at the host, or maybe like in a general or regular laptops or computers. So whenever there is a particular malware has been detected, so it would give us an alarm or like alert, like there is a malware which has been detected. But another one is would be on demand scan or scheduled scan, what they will do is as a system admin or network administrator, they will be doing a kind of a scanning activities performed on 24 hours on a regular basis, or like they will be setting a time of morning 9 p.m. There should be a scan which need to be run across the all the systems, or probably weekly once or monthly once or 45 days, so depending on their mode of business, and depending on their vulnerability, or they based on their mode of operations, they will perform this on-demand scan or manual scan. So indirectly, there is an automatical scan, and another one would be the manual scan. So manual scan is nothing but is defined as a on-demand scheduled scan. Automatic is something it pops up whenever there is a scan which has been detected. Now, what are the sources of the virus? I mean, what are the sources which could cause the virus. So that could be, let me share the notes. Yeah. సో అంటే మనకు వైరస్ ఏ విధంగా మనకు ఎంట్రీ రావచ్చు, what all the sources or what all the ways where we could able to encounter the virus. Can anyone tell the sources? ఏ విధంగా రావచ్చు? Phishing, okay. External drives, yeah. Next, apps from external, and yeah. So yeah, so when you talk about like phishing, so the phishing could include what? An attachment, right? Or there might be some URL which could include, or an IP address, right? So this is external drives or something like on a physical or endpoint. Endpoint is something like your laptop or maybe your desktop. Manually it could be installed, right? So apps could be like same, like you log into some URL, or maybe like you download from some domain, and that's how you could able to get it. This is also the same. So basically these are the sources. It could be an attachment, it could be an URL, it could be an IP address from where the this could be possible that we could able to get the downloads, or like get this malwares into our system or machine. So on a simple terminology, like this could be this if you look at, or like in a broader way of understanding, we have the term called IOC. By any chance, do you know about this? Indicators of compromise. So indicators of compromise could be a file attachment, or like file in a simple term, file or hash. Yeah. Pambichara. Can you share me again? Okay. Can you send it in the group? Okay, Pambichara. Right. That's something like dot apk. So this could be a phishing message. So whenever you look at, can everyone could look at that message which Mahesh shared? Did it? So let me show you that. Yeah. So this is one of the phishing campaign, probably like on the name of ICICI. They have sent one message: dear user, your ICICI bank account will be blocked today. Please open ICICI.apk file and submit your PAN card details. Thank you. So he has given some attachment. So this could be a malware. So indirectly, like the attacker or phisher is sending one attachment, and whenever you click on that, so it could have the impact of anything it could be. So we don't know, like what type of a file attachment it is. So we generally, or like on a regular expression, uh, we don't download these attachments. But then, like there are some people, like they have some kind of, like enforcement, like probably the fisher will be tempting with the messages, like sometimes even me would be tempted to download that attachment. So whenever this kind of an attachment is downloaded, so it we don't know the end result, or end goal of that particular installed file. So if you look at that, in the types of malware, so it could be anything. It could be an adware, it could be a spyware, it could be a rootkit, or it could be a botnet, or it could be a backdoor, or logic bomb, or worm, or virus. Anything it could be. So end result we are not sure. So now, thanks for sharing this example, Mahesh. So what happens is, like if the same thing has been downloaded, for example, like if you have a antivirus installed in your laptop or machine, the moment you download that attachment, the virus will scan and gives the inputs whether the attachment is having any malware or not. So if it is yes, then it's a kind of a protection step in the process. Like you will be getting aware that you are downloaded a file which could be a harmful file, and you will run the scan to understand what type of a malware it is and what type of a virus it is, and you will try to delete it at your end. So now the most of the population, or most of the users, are using the phones. Now in the phone, like some phones are, like equipped with the antivirus tools, but we don't know. Most of the phones are not really not really supports the latest attachments or viruses like this. So we could be vulnerable. So you tend to download it. If you would have the antivirus in place, then you would have been notified or given an alarm whether to whether to access the attachment or not. But if you don't have that antivirus, then you could be a victim. So that's how an antivirus would be an helpful tool to detect or identify such kind of a viruses or malwares. So in our case, like when you download the attachment, so what it is doing, it is doing an automatic scan. So on axis, real time is scanning, and it is going to give a pop-up. So antivirus software detects and removes the malware such as virus, trojan, and worm. Signature based viruses software detects unknown malware based on the signature definitions. So heuristic based software detects previously unknown malware based on behavior. So uh, heuristic based software is something like on the basis of the rules, like 0101. So it has got some unique way of, like identifying a codes that could also be detected by the antivirus. Got it. So one famous, or like few of the famous antivirus solutions which are available in the market is semantic. Another one is McAfee. McAfee is almost everybody would be aware of this McAfee tool. Yes, it is, isn't it? So McAfee software is basically an antivirus, or probably you would have heard about the Norton antivirus, or maybe Kaspersky antivirus. So all these are like other brands or other vendors who generally have this antivirus products in the market which are available. So if you are installing that kind of a antivirus tool in your machine or in your environment, so you can probably use these use cases to identify the malware. So for example, we have four such types of use cases. So one of the use cases is something like malware outbreak. So whenever there is a malware in the machine and it is trying to execute that character or execute that payload, so the antivirus will be giving you an alert by giving a name or naming to that particular alert, calling it as malware outbreak. Okay, say malware found in n systems. And another one would be multiple viruses in a single system. So whenever there is execution which has been done by any of the malware, or it is trying to spread it across within the system and giving a multiple diversified viruses in the system. So this is one of the use case which could be used. And we have antivirus services are stopped. So this is also important. So whenever there is a virus which is not doing its duties, or like it's stopped in some way, that should also be alerted, because attacker could be very smart that he could bypass the antivirus tool as well. Probably he could able to get into the machine access, or like host laptop or computer, and he could able to change the services within the computer, and he could able to remove the antivirus in the machine also. So that could also be possible. So in order to identify whether the antivirus is not working also, we could able to get an alert. And there are certain kind of malwares. Now here is one of the example of the malware, which is Trojan Ghost underscore CNC. So if there is something like this type of a malwares could, if it is identified, so the antivirus will give us an alarm with the name called Trojan Ghost underscore CNC. Okay, so that's how we could able to identify the viruses in the machine. So likewise, you understood one such kind of application which could give us an alarm, or which could able to protect from the external viruses. And you understood the characteristics of the antivirus and detection process, and also the types of vendors or brands which are available in the market, and the various use cases which could give us an alarm in the process of whenever the virus has been identified. So on a broader way of understanding, we have if you wanted to understand about the virus malwares, so there is another topic which gives you a broad way of understanding, and that's study of the malware is called as malware analysis. And in the malware analysis we have the types of malware analysis. If you look at the virus, we have two types of scanning activities. One is automatic and manual. Here also, when you get into the deeper subject, or you wanted to understand the malware, so we also have the malware types of malware analysis. So the one is static analysis, another one is dynamic analysis. So in the static analysis, basically what happens is the static analysis examines the malware without viewing the actual code. So it employs different tools and techniques to quick determine whether a file is malicious or not, provide information about its functionality, and collect technical indicators to produce simple signature. Technical indicators gathers with basic static analysis can include a normal file name, or MD5, or maybe hashes or file type, file size. So this could only gives the information about the indicator, but it will not do the kind of malware behavior. So it will only gives the simple information the indicators, which could gather basic information, which includes a file type, file name, md5, hashes, and the size. And another one is a dynamic analysis, when you wanted to get deeper and understand what the file is behaving. So that knowing, or the identifying the behavior of that particular file is called dynamic analysis. So basic dynamic analysis runs the malware into observe its behavior, understand its functionality, and identify technical indicators which can be used in detection signatures. Technical indicators revealed with basic dynamic analysis can include domain names, IP addresses, file path locations, registry key, additional files located on the system or network. So in short, so static analysis will examine the malware without running it by different tools and techniques, wherein the dynamic analysis executes malware in controlled and monitored environment to observe its behavior. So now, how is this basically achieved? When I call it as dynamic analysis. So with whatever the knowledge or layman knowledge you have, so by this till here you can manage. Okay, ante as a SOC and L1 analyst, you could able to identify the alarms, and you can detect the alarm and take the necessary action. But in terms of to look into deeper of whatever the attachment it has been involved, so a next level of analysis, if you wanted to perform, so you need to be a malware analyst. So this is also a kind of a job role which is there in the cybersecurity, and this is more or the less beyond the SOC analysis. So it's like it comes under the engineering activity, or penetration testing activity, where you wanted to study about that malware and you wanted to see the behavior of that malware. So to do that, you should understand there are two types of malware analysis, which is one static and another one is dynamic. So now in our example, like shared, so this is a message and it has been downloaded for any instance. So what you do, if you have an antivirus, the problem has been contained at the first level. So if you don't have an antivirus, or probably your virus did not detected this file as a malicious file or suspicious file, so in that case this has been attached to your phone, and maybe this application would have asked you some sensitive details, and you would have provided that sensitive details, and once it is been executed or submitted, so probably the attacker will have the complete command and control over your machine, or probably on your laptop or desktop or your phone. So from there entire access could be monitorized by the attacker, or sometimes he can also gain the access. So without your knowledge, he could able to execute some activities. So he can log into a banking account, and he knows the your password, I mean credentials, and he could able to execute it. And whenever there is a OTP which is generated on your phone, and he could able to easily give that OTP details, or he could able to bypass the two-way authenticator factor, or he can do anything, because he has complete command and control on your phone. So in this case you have been victimed, and uh, your complete device is being compromised, and the attacker is trying to execute the commands on his own. So in that case, this malware analysis could be an helpful thing. So what they will do, they will get into the analysis, and understand their file, that particular attachment, and the behavior of that particular attachment, And in the cases of identified the what type of a malware it is and what type of a damage it could be able to perform. So in that case, the required remediation actions could be executed in terms of containing that process, or in other way stop the process. So understood. So this is the next level of understanding the malwares and their behavior. So in a simple terms, we have two types of analysis. One is static, which will give just simple name of the file and MD5 hash value and type of the file, but it doesn't give the behavior analysis. Now when it comes to the behavior analysis, as a SOC analyst, or probably as a layman, could you able to do this behavior analysis on your machine? No. అంతే కదా, ఇప్పుడు మీరు డౌన్లోడ్ చేసి దాన్ని బిహేవియర్ చెక్ చేసుకోవాలంటే మీ మెషిన్లో చూస్తే యూ కుడ్ ఆల్సో బీ వల్నరబుల్ టు దట్ పర్టికులర్ ఫైల్. ఇంపాక్ట్ అవుతాం, కాంప్రమైజ్ అవుతాం. సో దానికి ఏం కావాలి? అడిషనల్ టూల్ కావాలి. సో దట్స్ వాట్ ఐ మీన్. ఇఫ్ యూ వాంటెడ్ టు పర్ఫార్మ్ ఎనీ డైనమిక్ అనాలిసిస్, so you need some controlled and monitored environment to observe the behavior. So దానికి మనకు ఓపెన్ సోర్స్ టూల్స్ లైక్ any.run ఉంటుంది, ఆర్ కొన్ని మేజర్ సర్వీసెస్ ఉంటాయి. అంటే మేము ఇంతకుముందు కంపెనీలో మేము లాంబ్డా టెస్ట్ అని ఒక వన్ ఆఫ్ ద controlled and monitored environment we used to have. So and in general, Mimecast is one of the tool, or probably we also have semantic endpoint detection. Adi kuda one of the tool. So what we will do, so we will log into that particular product, and we will paste that attachment whatever we have discussed, whatever we have received. So that attachment, it could able to scan and give the dynamic analysis, and it will tell us the behavior what it is doing. And in a real time also it shows ఒకసారి మనం ఎగ్జిక్యూట్ చేసినాక అది ఏమవుతుంది, దాని బిహేవియర్ ఎట్లా చేంజ్ అవుతుంది. సో దట్ కుడ్ బి ఏబుల్ టు అండర్స్టూడ్ ఇన్ ది dynamic analysis. Got it? So